Welcome to our episode of Barman Saturdays. And if you're wondering about the numbering, it's based on the order in which these episodes were recorded in. So, yeah, I did episodes for every Saturday for the month of February, and we're going back to the start of the month, to do a second set of movies. If I'll actually complete all that, I don't know. The plan's to do three movies for every Saturday this month, so doing 12 Bargain Saturday episodes was the plan. I don't know if we'll get there because there's all kinds of other stuff I can work on too. And I know I'm not going to be able to stick to my schedule because the schedule itself I usually try to set is pretty much insane to the point it's next to impossible to follow. So if we don't get, all the 12 films in total, I won't be surprised. But I suppose we should talk about Little Heroes from 1991. I'm gonna be upfront and admit I'd say take my opinion with a grain of salt because I just couldn't get into this film. Like this is the second time I've tried watching this film. I tried watching this film years ago and I couldn't get into it. Like I watched like the first 10 minutes and I was just like I give up. I don't want to watch this film. It has literally zero draw for me, and I'm just like okay, we came back around to working on this film pack a little bit. I'm just like we're gonna try and finally get through this film from 1991 and I found myself spending like half the film literally just pacing in my room, listening to the film, but not, watching what was going on screen that much. Like sometimes I'd sit down and watch it, sometimes I'd wander off to go use the restroom or get a drink, and I just let the film play. I wasn't even in the room at all. So yeah, I just could not get into this film. And I know this film has fans because there's more. A few people have commented on the trailer for this film that's up on YouTube that have asked, where they can find this movie online for free. My advice is look for big family packs like this because you may find it, tucked in there. I'm not gonna upload this movie for people, for free and get my channel, removed because of copyright issues. It's not worth it, in my opinion, for myself. And this film's probably not popular enough that I'd get that much attention anyway, considering there's no reviews on YouTube as far as I can tell, just a few clips, and that's basically it. Like, this film's basically been forgotten. So I'm guessing I'm not alone, being hard pressed to get into this film, if it's been that forgotten about. Ugh. So yeah, take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm definitely not a fan of this movie. It bored me to tears very quickly, and that's one of my big problems with this movie. As for the themes of the movie, it definitely goes for good themes, with overcoming struggles in life and stuff like that. Considering our main character is poor, she has to deal with her parents arguing constantly about money because her father gave up his factory job to work the land. He decided to become a farmer, and he's running a rundown farm essentially that just doesn't bring in the money because he's just not growing that much wheat and stuff to harvest. We then have issues with her, not having that many people that are friendly to her in the school because, she's the poor girl, so she's a social outcast because all her clothes are old. She has the old toys. So basically, no one wants to spend any time with her. And the one girl we see try and spend time with her at first is doing so out of cruelty because she invites her over to basically act as a servant for her and her other friends.
You did that
And her mom's even worse because she constantly tells her to go away because, she just doesn't fit in because she's poor. Which is, she's so adamant about this, she even throws a fit when she goes to church in her old clothes.
This is not Skid Row. It's God's house.
Like, seriously? I know there's Christian groups in the U.S. that obsess over money. Like, it's not exactly a secret that that's true. I mean, there's more than a few Christians that'll talk about how wealth is a blessing of God, shows that, you're morally superior because you must only have great amounts of wealth because, you're morally upstanding in God's eyes. And that being poor is the result of being a sinner. And that God's punishing you, for your bad behavior. So you have to get in line with God, if you want to actually get out of the poverty hole. So it's not like her attitude, is anything that new in my opinion, from my perspective at least, because just like I've seen it, but it's weird, how much some certain Christian groups obsess over money, considering they believe in a Bible that says you can't serve both money and God at the same time. Matthew 6:24. So yeah, that bugs me, but I don't want to really spend a lot of time talking about religious stuff because I know it's a powder keg that's just going to get me more trouble than it's probably worth on this channel. But yes, we can suffice to say she's a very bad Christian, in my opinion. Obviously, her opinion does shift near the end of the movie, but that's after, our main character Charlie and her dog Fuzz save a man's life, after he accidentally gets his thumb cut off on one of his hands by a burglar. So she pulls off his belt and uses it to tighten it up on his arm so she can basically stop the bleeding, for a bit, or at least slow it down. Then has, Fuzz in charge of pulling it nice and tight while she runs to go get actual help.
Alonzo, you're bleeding!
Caught my hand in the plunger. Took my thumb off.
Here, hold this. Come here, Fuzz. Come here. Pull tight! Pull tight!
Because it's not like she's gonna be able to carry, an adult man twice her size, considering she's like 12 in this film. Or at least the actress was 12. I'm not sure exactly how old they're trying to portray her in the school itself. But yeah, it still bugs me though on one level that this film ends. Well, it doesn't end with her not having a new dog, but one of the scenes we get is Fuzz dying. Like, why? I mean, this. I guess it makes the film more relatable to Old Yeller in that way, or Where the Red Fern Grows. But it feels unnecessary, considering at least in Old Yeller, the dog gets infected with rabies while protecting the family from another animal that has rabies. So, it just had to be put down because it was no longer safe to be around because it'd gone mad, was dangerous. It's a sad moment, but, it's a movie, about pioneers. So, the dog suffering a sad fate, wasn't entirely surprising. Especially with the title of the book being Old Yeller. You're like, it's an old dog. You expect something bad to happen to it. And Where the Red Fern Grows, it's a hunting accident. In this film, Fuzz eats poison bait that was left out, while he's left home alone while they're at the hospital and dies from it. Which has to be like any dog owner's worst nightmare. Considering, dogs are little children that love to put anything and everything in their mouth and swallow it. Trust me, my parents' dogs are especially bad about this. Like to the point where you're almost like you have to muzzle them to try and get them to stop grabbing every little walnut and stick and whatever on the ground, just chewing it and then swallowing it real fast. Like you can try and stop them, but they're like Maggie's just like, oh, like it's just like a snake, just like quick down and grabs something and swallows it, before you even can react really to it. And Rose being so low and close to the ground, yeah, like it's even worse. It's like he does a quick dive, it's gonna be hard to stop her from doing it. Like you almost have to hold the leash like straight up above their heads sometimes to try and control them from doing that. There's a reason my parents have sometimes talked about walking them with muzzles, not because they're worried about them biting other dogs, because they're worried about them getting sick from eating random crap off the ground. Yeah, a bit of a rant there, but yeah, as far as this film's concerned, like it feels unnecessary. Sure, it means we get an ending of her getting, a brand new puppy from a different, breed of dog, but still a new puppy that she decides to basically call Little Fuzzbo in honor of Fuzz. Like you're the new Fuzz because you're a fuzzy puppy. But yeah, like I don't see why Fuzz's death was necessary. I suppose it's a lesson about how eventually everyone around you is gonna grow old and die. I suppose maybe was meant to be sort of the point, but it just feels like an unnecessary inclusion in the film. Like they're trying to hit a sad moment that just doesn't feel like it was needed. Like, isn't there enough sadness in the film already from her being, isolated and alone and picked on for a good chunk of it? So yeah, like this is definitely not a film I'd want to watch again because like I said, I can't get into it. Like it just bores me that much. But if you enjoy it, and I know there are people that enjoy this film, more power to you. But if you're looking for it, I'd try looking for maybe this collection set online. You know, try and pick it up on the cheap because I assume I found this in either actually I'm pretty sure I found it at Dollar Tree, so I paid like literally less than $1.33 for all 10 of these films. So I imagine they wouldn't be that expensive even online. Maybe $5, but then you gotta factor in shipping and handling. But yeah, I'm not uploading it illegally. It's not worth losing my channel over. So don't even ask. It's like, until next time then. See ya.